One unseen aspect of international rugby is the travel teams need to make over short and long distances. With the Sevens World Series visiting destinations in every continent, minimising the effects of long-haul travel is a major part of preparation for the teams and match officials.
The time you get to the far goal line, you're at 100%, max effort. Okay, approaching max speed. We're going to do 4 of them, one every 20 seconds. 3, 2, 1, go! We can divide it into 3 areas really. It's what you do before you travel, what you do while you're travelling, and then what you do when you get to a destination. The key thing before you travel is that you have some sort of plan, and while you're travelling that you use that plan. And then when you get to a destination, you've got something that you can do, i.e. get on with the work that needs to be done and get into that time zone. It's easy to jump on a long haul flight and sit there for 12 hours and watch movies. And that's probably the worst thing you can do. And the crucial things you can do are having movement through the flight, keeping your hydration up, and watching what you eat and drink. You have to work hard to travel well and then get to a destination and work hard to get into the rhythm in that venue. You need to make sure the guys have the opportunity to be fresh and feel good physically so they can then do what it's all about, which is making consistent, good decisions that are going to enhance the game.
We've added it up, and now with 9 tournaments we spend about 210 hours a year in the air, around about 250 hours travelling time total. That's a massive amount for anyone, particularly for athletes jetting around the globe. So we've identified that that's actually a critical area that we can improve our ability to front up and be consistent between tournaments. So we put a lot of resource into managing the travel plan. This trip from Auckland, 30 hours total. The big thing there is that it's an 11-hour time zone shift. And most of the sort of anecdotal research around shows that for an 11-hour time zone shift it would take 11 days for a normal person to acclimatise to that. We play in 5 days, so we've got to sort of condense everything to improve our recovery so that we hit the tournament at 100%. For big guys, and a lot of these guys are over 100 kgs, sitting in a plane or just sitting for 30 hours is not really conducive to anyone's health.
I'm quite fidgety. I can't sit down for long in the same spot, and in economy I get quite uncomfortable, especially with my knees up against the chair, and most of the boys in the team, actually a lot of the boys are over 6 foot, so it gets quite uncomfortable.
There's a whole raft of things that we use to sort of manage that whole process. The primary one being sort of hydration strategies. We will take on board about 15 litres of fluid, and that's a mixture of water and isotonic drinks. And our guys will put on about 3 kilos of weight in a flight. The other things we do is we all travel with a mask. It's sort of like an oxygen mask. It's called a humidifier, and that essentially is a rebreathing mask. So we're rebreathing our own air, and it has a little microfilter to try and stop any infections sort of that you can pick up on an international flight. So we all travel with that.
We do get a few funny looks, but at least there's 16 of us instead of just you by yourself. We do get a few funny looks and a few questions asked to us, but some people think that we know something that they don't. We've got a few things we've got to do. I guess the main thing I've learned is about the hydration and how much the planes actually dry you out with all the air conditioning. We wear our travel socks, which pretty much just stop blood clots.
Preventing DVT is probably the biggest thing, so it's compulsory for us to travel with lower leg compression garments. The other thing is blue light exposure. All the players now have an app that they download onto their phones, and that stimulates their wake cycles. We know that if we can get all those things, all those sort of ducks in a row, that'll feed into our performance. There's been 14 World Series, and I think we've been lucky enough to win 11 of them, and maybe lucky enough isn't the right word. It's because we put a lot of effort into being consistent.
We do have a dream job, but it's not as good as most people think. We've got a job to do, and we want to get here in the best nick that we can, and I reckon what we do definitely helps.
I think that probably New Zealand, along with the island teams, Fiji, Samoa, probably have the biggest travel leagues on the whole series.
Ourselves in Samoa, it's not just flying, it's getting to the airports, which is often hours on bumpy roads, long flights, overnight often in transit, and so it's a bit of a project, getting the boys from A to B. The boys are very good, they never complain, but if you're not careful you can burn them out, and so the enormous benefits about having some help from a chiropractor.
It's a lot of stress, changing time zones, obviously having to sit down for that length of time. These guys are athletes, even having a day or 2 days off will affect their performance. So what they're trying to achieve, obviously they're leading up to a tournament, we're trying to maximise their performance, try and get their full range of motion back into their spine and joints. Playing a rugby match is a bit like having a couple of car accidents. People will suffer injuries because your body reacts to physical, chemical, emotional stress. So obviously we're trying to reduce all those injuries, get the body working as well as it can so the nervous system can start to function properly, and that will help with their performance. It allows their body to function better.
To be able to do this and give all the boys an MOT and a feel good, because you do feel good after these sessions before London, having flown all the way around the world and get battered 6 times in Glasgow, it's great, it's a real advantage.
A lot of athletes, in the last Olympics, a lot of top professionals actually get chiropractic care just to make sure that they're fine-tuned and their body's ready to go. Anything I can do to help, I'm glad to try and push their limit up a bit more, and hopefully we'll see a win on the weekend.
I think he's going to be our secret weapon, actually.